Welcome to Kelly Minds Her Manners, a podcast about real estate and entrepreneurship with a twist. Here's your host, Kelly Robinson.
Hey everyone, it's great to be back on Kelly Minds Her Manners. Today's guest is Superwoman Amy Scruggs, who is known in country music for more than 15 years, opening for greats including Clint Black, Trace Adkins, Charlie Daniels, and many more. She was the spokesperson for the American Veterans of California, AMVETS, from 2009 to 2011. Amy's career also includes 20 years in sales team coaching and received bestseller on her book, Lights, Camera, Action in 2021. The past 5 years, she enjoyed her position as a TV host for the American Dream TV on CNBC and several other shows. Amy uses her experience as a media executive, TV host, recording artist, and public speaker to help others communicate a concise and professional message for network TV, podcasts, social media, or in-person public speaking appearances. Her new single, released in 2022, What If All Goes Right, is on the radio worldwide, including reaching 66 on Music Row charts, along with being selected for the New York Times Summer 2022 playlist. On today's show, Amy and I talk all things entrepreneurship and wearing many, many hats and being able to handle doing all of the things that you love and not having to give things up. Please welcome Amy Scruggs. Okay, so thank you so much for being a guest on my show. And I've been so excited to speak with you. I mean, you're kind of like an idol for me because I always like to be super busy. And I feel like you are like that, but like 100 times more. I don't know how you do it all. I mean, you are a best-selling author. You're a country music singer who has songs on top charts and on the New York Times. Is this the summer list you said?
Yes.
Yeah. And you're a coach and a public speaker and a television host, and you have a band with your son. And I mean,
I know.
Is there anything I'm forgetting? How do you do it all?
Throwing 6 grown kids.
And you are a mother of 6 grown kids. My gosh.
Right.
I'm so impressed with you. So
thank you.
What came first?
Oh my goodness. Well, the children definitely.
The children came first.
So if anybody's doing the math, I was 5 when I had the first one because he's almost 32. So I just want to keep the math in order in case there's any questions. But definitely the children came first. And then the career started in wholesale mortgage for me in 2000. That was where I had that first big girl job experience, kind of thrown out into the world in Los Angeles and Orange County, which at that time was extremely competitive, cutthroat. And I went, ooh, I have a lot to learn really fast. So that's where it all started. And everything is this incredible tool belt. So it is a lot. It's funny as you bring it up that way. I'm like, oh, that is a lot. That kind of does describe my day. But it's a lot of tools that came together, went, well, that makes sense. Well, that makes sense. And a lot of shifting. And to me, in my happy little head, it makes sense. And I'm really good at time blocking. So just a little kickoff there.
Yeah, so you started sales coaching like 20 years ago, right? I mean, I feel like you look like you're 20. So
thank you. I'm trying.
And then you started your music career 15 years ago. Is that right?
Well, what happened was, and if you see that timeline, going into wholesale mortgage, and all of my clients were real estate and mortgage and sales, running sales teams. But 2007 is when that all collapsed. And I was in the middle of the thick of all that. I had been singing my entire life since I was 3. I said I was going to be Barbara Mandrell. I was forcing my girlfriends to be backup dancers in shows in the backyard by the time I was 8. So that was really the category I wanted to be in. But life and kids and needing to provide and put a roof over my head really allowed me to step into sales and do that in an excellent way that allowed me to provide. But it disappeared. And so I went, okay. I have the sales skills, I have the business skills, and clearly I have the passion for music. What if I put those things together? And instead of burying my head in the sand and drowning during a time of a recession, I went out and asked for the business exactly the same as a recording artist. And that's how that really came together for the next level of the music coming in, because it was really actually a necessity. I looked at what other tools do I have? I entertain. This is what I do. And so the kids and I went on tour, but I specialized really in family events, the big fair circuit, opening up for the big names because it allowed me to have the kids with me. And then also the 3 years as the spokesperson for American veterans for California. It allowed me to bring my kids to military and veteran events when they could be with me. It was an incredible opportunity for me to polish up in being a spokesperson.
Yeah.
Mentoring the veterans as well, also being a platform and seeing here's a nonprofit organization, a service organization that doesn't know how to get the message out there and bring in more members. And so I learned really grassroots at that time because that was before we had Instagram and YouTube was just dog videos. Facebook was just your high school friends. So it wasn't a time that social media was used for business the way that we do today. And so I was going radio station to TV station, town to town, helping the American veterans increase their membership while I was also performing and working as a community service partner. So I think a lot of that leading to what I do today as well. And I'm so thankful. I didn't just sing. I was also so intertwined in service and service organizations. And that's been a key component.
How did you get involved in, thank you, Seamus. It's not thundering anymore. How did you get involved in the veterans? Was it because you were performing for them? And then did you just fall in love with this organization?
I think that also goes back to the 3-year-old that started practicing the national anthem in a hairbrush. I just knew that was going to be something I did. My dad is an Air Force veteran, so that was instilled in me of the respect and understanding of veterans. So I knew that I always wanted to do that. And learning the national anthem in its traditional way and perfecting it became a definite anchor point. People would request me to sing at stadiums and to sing at these events. So it opened up opportunity where they started requesting me to do full concerts. So the national anthem really parlayed into a bigger thing. And at that point I said, listen, I can't feed my kids on nothing. So we need to put together some kind of an agreement. And I asked for it. And we came up with an agreement as a spokesperson partnership. And I was so thankful. It was a win-win.
That's awesome. And it's amazing that you have this song, What If It All Goes Right? And you have other ones that have done really well too, but that just topped the charts in 2022. I downloaded it and I've been listening to it for the last couple of days, just over and over again. You have such a beautiful voice and it's such a great song. Did you write that song yourself?
No. And Kelly, oh my gosh, that was a gift. I mean, you and I met a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That song came after we met. I got the call during COVID. I wrote the book like everybody else did, but I also received the call from my years of relationships in Nashville that said, listen, Amy, would you like to record your dream project? And all the artists, producers, everybody was not touring at home and had time. And so I said, yes, during the pandemic to go back to Nashville and record. Fred Mullen is one of the greatest producers of all time. I mean, legendary. And so he said, all right, let's start the song search part of it. So I know my skills and where I'm good and where I'm not. The songwriting was not one of those. So my A&R rep and my producer started reaching out to all the publishers and writers in Nashville. And we spent 6 months going through 1,000 songs, knowing I was looking for those 5.
Wow.
And when I saw the title to What If It All Goes Right, I'm like, that's my anthem. That's it. I didn't even hear it yet. It could have been just a horrible melody. It could have been an awful song. And I'm like, I will make it great. That is the one that I've been looking for my entire life. It was like a gift. It just, lightning came out and angels were singing. It was beautiful. And we said, absolutely, that needs to be on the project. And we chose that to be the first single release. And releasing it in 2022 as we're kind of coming out of the pandemic, the world's opening up a little bit. It was the perfect timing. It was magic. It was the perfect song at the right time.
I had asked for 20 years.
It really was.
It's beautiful. Everybody should download Amy Scruggs' music. She's a beautiful voice. It's really fun. And you have a focus on country music. What is it that draws you to country music? Is it the storytelling? Like, what is it about country music that is a genre that you are drawn to?
The first part of it is the funniest answer, but my last name is Scruggs. I didn't have a choice. You're born with that last name, you're like, I guess I'm supposed to be in country. But in all seriousness, I grew up listening to country with my dad. So for me, it's the memories and it's the relationship with my father that kind of rooted that in. And I loved growing up on the older country. And that's what I listened to in my 20s. Now, having 4 grown kids, I have been exposed to every type of music you can even imagine. So I'm very versed. And there's a lot of influence in my live show that has a lot of rock and a lot of different sounds in there. But country was the anchor. And I think because of my childhood, my father, and the last name, Scruggs does not belong in another platform. I knew it would stand out in country, and it does.
That's so funny. I love that. That's a great answer. That's a
It
really
chose
great
me.
answer. So out of all of the things that you do, if you could only do one of them, what would it be? I know
Oh,
that's so
so
hard.
oh goodness gracious. I would have to answer probably the coaching because there's something powerful, especially at this stage in life. My math was incorrect. I'm not 37, but this stage in life, watching other individuals get it, m- level up on their communications, their visibility. When I see their businesses grow, when I see someone who's struggling how to even be in front of the camera or how to articulate or wants to do a show and start a show like you just did, but they're too afraid and to say, here,
Yeah.
let me help you get there. I see my fingerprints on so many businesses and individuals now. As much as I love the music, that's the root and the passion, the heart. I was born with it. I was playing piano at 3. So that is a component that's in my DNA.
Yeah.
However, professional fulfillment, where I see that I'm making an impact really on people's lives, is with the media coaching. And as that's evolved even more in the last 3 years, it's grown and grown as far as the fulfillment and what I feel when I do it. And I think also because I've had those amazing moments on the big stages. I've toured, I've done it. I can check that box, except for a couple big stages I'd love to still do. I can check that box. I'm not done checking the box in coaching. There's a lot more to do. And I think that would probably be my most heartfelt answer.
Do you coach real estate professionals?
I do.
You do.
I actually started with real estate professionals because when I was on American Dream TV, most of the guests were real estate professionals. We always also had nonprofits, community leaders, business owners, but there was a lot of real estate involved with that. And also because of my background in sales and mortgage and real estate, I speak that language. That's what I say. I speak it inside and out. So most of my clients, when I first started my coaching, was only real estate. It's only these last couple of years that I've transitioned, if I can say that word today, into other industries. And that's been really fun to learn wealth advisors, attorneys, big business owners, entrepreneurs, all different businesses now of professionals that I get to work with. And that's been great because real estate was the primary. I still do work with several real estate agents and I love them dearly. My middle son just got his license. I'm now helping him with his marketing. So I have one in the family now and I'm so proud of him. Yes.
Amazing.
So
Who does he work for?
He just joined with EXP and he's in Southern California. He's in the Orange County area. So he's just got the license. He's 25, but I told him, you will thank yourself for this for the rest of your life. There's
when I got licensed,
negative
25.
that can come from this. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait to tell him.
Yeah. So as far as touring is concerned, what's your favorite part about touring?
Oh, touring is hard. Meeting new people in new towns, seeing new places, that was outstanding. I think the fans, the actual connection to humans touring was incredible. The moment on the stage, touring is really hard. And then you have those 30, 45 minutes on the stage when you're doing your show that you can't put words to what that feels like.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I'm so grateful that I've had a life that I can say I've experienced that. The actual show itself is awesome. Everything in between is really tough, especially when you're bringing kids along the way, because something goes wrong every time. There's no great story that, oh, this went perfect and everything was wonderful. There was flat tires. There was the contracts not being right at the venue. There was issues with housing or lodging, whatever. There was so many stories and it was hard and I'm too old for it now, but I'm glad I did it when I was younger.
So do you ever get stage fright?
For the most part, no, not singing. Public speaking, still, yes, I do. I think because a lot of times when I'm speaking in front of my peers as professionals. I'm speaking on a topic that I know they could probably challenge me. They might think, oh, what does she know? I get that imposter syndrome sometimes where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm speaking in front of all executives. Who do I think I am? Right. When I'm singing, I'm like, I've got this. This is what I've trained for. This is my voice. Not many people could get up and sing. So I know that there's something really unique about that. Public speakers, there's a lot of us. So I think that the nerves come in more when I'm speaking than when I'm singing. For sure.
Do you think that and this is an interesting question. I'm always so interested to hear the answer to, because so many, you really don't know until you get the answer directly. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
There is not an introverted part in me. I don't think there ever has been. My poor family.
No, and
I know it. I know it's not now. As an older, middle age here, I have learned how to challenge myself to be an introvert at times, as far as my meditation, when I need quiet, when I need to pull in and have a day of not being out there and big. So I'm teaching myself to add introvertedness into my system because I know it makes a better balance for me. Because if not, I get too pulled out and then I could get resentful, and that's silly because I put myself there. So I'm learning to be introverted when necessary, but it's not in me naturally.
Do you feel like you're really content with everything that you do, or do you feel like you're pulled in too many different directions? Or would, if you had too much time to yourself, would you be bored? Like what?
Yes.
You would,
I would be bored. I would create another nonprofit. I would do something. But to answer the question of, do I start to get feeling too tugged at? I'm human, and some days I definitely bite off more than I can chew. So that's normal. What I've learned to do is stop and capture that thought right as it happens and say, no, I asked for this. What a blessing. What a blessing to be this busy. What if I didn't have business? What if goes back to the song, but okay, this is a blessing. I'm equipped. I'm trained. I've prepared for this. This is here because I was ready, because this is what I've asked for and manifested. So then I go into a place of gratefulness, and then I say, okay, bring it on. I've got this. Like today's a full day. And I'm like, bring it on. I've trained for this. It's fine. I got this. And it really helps me face it with that way, that at the end of the day, I go, wow, what a day. I mean, I'm sure you go through the same thing with your extremely busy real estate career. There's got to be days that more comes at you than what you can humanly handle. And at the end of the day,
real estate, and during the pandemic, I formed a startup that I'm working on, and the podcast and the social media and I get, it's nowhere near the level of where you are with all of the things that you do. But I'm the type of person that's not happy if I'm not busy. So I can relate to you in that way. And hopefully someday I can rise to the level that you're at. I think it's just
I think
amazing.
You already do.
And it's, I have so much respect for female entrepreneurs like you. And we really have to stick together and support each other. We really, really do.
We really do. I remember we felt that the first time we met. Like, we have to stick together and support each other because it is tough. And we have gone through those times when that we didn't have that support. We're pushing that stone uphill. And as I say now, I think I'm finally old enough to be taken seriously and young enough to still take action. It's taken a lot of years to feel like I'm taken seriously as a woman and an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Well, you're killing it. You really are. So I was going to ask you if you've ever written a song for anybody, but you're not a writer. So
my son is the writer. So my oldest son, he's 32, he started playing for me as my lead guitar player since he was 18 years old. He has written songs for us that are really awesome. We do those in our live show. We haven't had a chance to really record them yet. Circumstances just haven't put that together, but we will when it's time. And that's fine. But he wrote a song for the female veterans that'll just floor you, called I Am a Soldier, because he said, Mom, there's all these songs, especially in country music out there for all the male veterans. Toby Keith has great songs and they're out there, but I've never heard a song for the female veteran. And he wrote one that describes a young girl. I'm a young woman, just turned 18, and here I stand. It's time for me to make this decision. I'm going to enlist. And it's really an interesting song. And we would do that one live when we were still with AMVETS or out doing a lot of military events. And they would come up crying and hug him afterwards.
I love that.
I can't take credit. And what I always ask him if he writes a song like that is, may I have the privilege of being the voice on it? Because it's his. I never assume he writes something that I get to sing it. That's his child. He created it. And I ask his blessing to be able to sing it if he allows. And so he's a couple great things.
I love that. He's a young man whose mom obviously raised him right, and he's writing a song for female veterans. That's amazing. As a young man writing a song for a female veteran.
And he was 19 when he wrote it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I'll let the great songwriters do what they do. I know I have enough lanes. I know when to stay in my lane. Give me the song, I'll knock it out of the park. I'll perform it. But I know I'm not a writer. Not in that category.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a couple of not so fast 5 questions for you. Like I said before, you get 5 questions in 2 passes. What is one piece of advice that every entrepreneur needs to hear?
Everybody would say not giving up. So that's the obvious. But making decisions today of where you see your business a year or 2 years from now. I'm reaping the rewards today of decisions I made 2 years ago. And I know decisions I'm making today in my business are for 2 years from now. So finding that flow and not looking for that immediate result, like, oh, but I did all this last month, and how come I don't have this this direct result in my sales or in my clients or what that's supposed to look like. Just keep doing it, because your future self will look back and go, oh my goodness, decisions I made in 2020. I mean, 2020, I started song searching, early 2021. And now here we are on this show today, speaking about the success that the song just had in the last 6-8 months. It takes a while. Everything that you're building has got to go forward. So look at yourself 2-3 years from now and make those decisions today for that.
And when you are doing that, do you plan things out? Do you have a plan that's written down? Do you start from the small and go to the big? Do you break everything down that you want to do to get to that goal?
I do, with some variation, allowing for creativity and magic, because our networks are key. I never know. I'm going to get a call that changes everything tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Amy, what about this opportunity? So I definitely have a plan where I need it to go. I mean, every business, every day, the plan of business is staying in business. So every day there's that plan of how do I stay in business and how do I grow the business? But I have to leave wiggle room in there that I'm not stubborn and I miss a beautiful opportunity or a shift because I was so rigid on my plan. So there's a fine line there.
Yeah. So it's more of like an outline, but with some flexibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Are there any other projects that you'd like to tackle, but you just haven't had the time to do?
Oh, so many. Oh, my brain is just constant. Yes, I have several documentaries that I want to tackle. I have several documentaries and I want to run them through my nonprofit, but there are some great stories that need to be told. And I want to produce and host some documentaries because I think it's powerful work when we see independent projects like that go out there and they really can make a difference. Selfishly, I'd like to go back and do an entire album. I'm ready. I'm ready to go back to Nashville and record new music now. I'm like, okay,
I hope you do.
I released all 5 songs. The EP has been released. It's out there. It's time to go find some more music. So that is definitely a project that I would like to do. And I see upcoming ahead. And I would like to start on another book for maybe 2024, 2025.
And how did you get into writing?
Writing was COVID. What else?
Writing was COVID. Yeah.
You can't leave me sitting still. And also this one specifically, because I had been doing the TV show and had been coaching for a while. I saw the entire world go on camera and I went, oh, this is going to be a problem. I'm about to see some things unfold. And we did. The entire world had to go on camera in order to function. And a lot of it was disastrous. And so then at that point, my coaching went from just individuals that were trying to do TV to everyone can use this coaching. And it's allowed me to broaden the industries that I was able to step into. And so the book needed to be written because a lot of that is some of those easy to read coaching steps, but also I reached out to my network. It's not just me in there. It was incredible people in my network that I said, can you contribute? Can give your opinion on first impressions or the power of delivering the right message? And so it was fun to see it come together. And again, that time, everyone said yes. Everyone said yes to the book because they had the time. The musicians said yes to being in studio because they had the time. The producer said yes. And sometimes we need to say yes because look what came from that. And I could have never dreamed of that 4 years ago.
Do you ever say no?
Yes, all the time.
You do?
Because I have so much coming at me now. I say no, I think just as much as I say yes.
It's important to be able to say no. So many people who like to remain busy and are excited about every opportunity they hear about, they get bogged down because they don't know how to say no, or they feel like they might miss out. They have FOMO, right?
Right. No, if it doesn't fall in line with where my business is going and what are the key components of me staying in business and what I would like to do up ahead, again, leaving room for creativity, something might come in that I need to take a look at. So discernment, and then make that decision. But I definitely say no to a lot of things because I cannot be everyone, everywhere, everything.
No, I mean, but you kind of are. You really are.
I make it appear that way, but it's good time management.
You're Superwoman. So what is something that other people value that maybe most other people value that you don't necessarily value or subscribe to?
I don't look at the work I do and say, what do I make for this? Attaching the dollar amount to what I do. For me, I provide value all day. And with that, I know that I'm putting the right thing out there to receive. And receivership comes in from different things. And so for me, it's saying all day, have I provided value? Have I been accessible? Have I been accountable? And have I been grateful? So I'm not sitting there counting the dollars. Yeah. I'm counting the value I provide. And I know that that's what's coming back.
And that's got to be so much more fulfilling because money comes and goes.
Yes, it's currency. That was the biggest
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
Understanding that money is current. It's flowing in a current, and I want to get into that flow. I need provisions, of course. I have things that I need. I have a lot of grown kids that need me. It's expensive in this world now, but I also know if I focus on the value, I focus on my business, that will continue resolving itself and receiving will be there.
Cool. Okay, so are you a cannonball person or are you a dip the toe in first person?
I'm a cannonball.
Cannonball all the way. Love
All
it.
the way. I don't have the time to dip my toe. If I've made a decision, I'm jumping in. And I'm going to get all the information. I'm going to research it. I'm going to make sure I have the systems in play, make sure that it's going to work. I don't have to, if I was a toe dipper, I'd still be back in 2018.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a book or the music or a coaching business.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true. Do you see any parallels between the music industry and sales?
Yes. Because you have to run it as a business. You have to sell yourself. And that means everything that I'm putting out there. Artists, there's wonderful, amazing artists out there that they're writing great music. They're doing shows, they're doing showcases, but they're not understanding that in between, they need to be selling themselves, making sure they're branding, their talking points, putting them out there in the media, having advisors on how they run their social media and create that visibility. And also, what is their branding? What is their message? Who am I as an artist? If they have a platform, they are very supportive of, maybe autism or how do they stand on that? How do they utilize what platform that they support into their career? Like for me, knowing how much I supported the veterans, it ended up becoming a part of my branding and my platform.
Yeah.
And it worked out very beautifully. And now, what if it all goes right is a huge part of my platform. And I'm a Rotarian, I'm in Rotary. So utilizing my message, my music, and my branding that walks in alignment with what I'm doing in outreach.
That's a great answer. That's a great, it's so true. I mean, when you can make everything congruent, when you can make everything flow and have a purpose for everything else that you're doing,
Yes.
It just makes it all that much better.
Yes. I mean, imagine if I had released a song that was about like drinking and heartbreak, do you think that would have gone alongside everything else that I do? The music that I recorded had to match my message so that I can integrate it with everything else that I do. And artists who are all music, I'm sure they're doing other things as well. Maybe they also want to be a keynote speaker. Have your music and your branding align with everything that you want to be doing, and it will make a tremendous difference.
So what would you tell somebody who wants to start building a media presence, but they don't know where to start? And they don't know how to get there or who to go to or what doors to knock on or how to break those doors down and get past the gatekeepers?
Well, if they're listening to this show, then they're already connected to you and I. And you and I are connected to amazing people, probably in every industry. So the number one answer to that question is ask. Ask. Start with your network. Do you know someone that can help me? Do you know someone who knows someone who can help me? Great coaches have coaches. Mentors have mentors. You have to start somewhere. And if that person doesn't know, can you reach to your network and see if someone knows? But if they're already listening to this, I guarantee you that Kelly and I have the answer, and we can get you someone that can get you started.
That's a great point. And that's something that I really needed to hear because I have trouble asking people for things. I don't know why. It's something I talk to my therapist about. I have trouble asking for what I want. I don't have trouble giving people what they ask for.
Right.
And people ask all the time. And I am so happy to do whatever I can. But I always have this sense of guilt when I'm asking for something for myself. And I don't know where it comes from, but
it's common.
Hearing you say that just resonates because I need to start being better at that.
It's the truth because most people really want to give. If I came to you and said, Kelly, gosh, do you know someone or can you help me with this item? You'd be like, Amy, of course, I love to help. Yeah. And the same for me. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'd love to help. Knowing that the human mind, as humans, most of us, I mean, there's the exceptions, we want to help. So therefore, it's okay to ask because you're giving that other person the opportunity to be a blessing to you. And isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
And we don't know if we don't ask. And can you imagine if all of us collectively here, those of us that are part of this show today, all asked each other for help, everything that we need, I guarantee would be taken care of.
That's such a great point. So then you have a coach.
Yes, several. I have always made sure that I'm investing in coaching and mentorship. I see someone where, do I want to be there? Then I'm going to go ask them, how did you get there? Or even if it's just subscribing to their products, making sure I read all of their books. So I have several. Some of them I consume the information, and some I have direct mentorship with.
It's great. It's great advice. I do the same thing. And I feel like it's always so important to be growing, no matter how far you get in life, in personal life and business life. It's always so important to be growing both your emotional intelligence and your business acumen. So yes, there's always somebody that you can learn from. And I personally find I always have interns. Every season I have interns. I had 4 interns this summer. I have 3 right now. And I learned so much from them. I learned so much from these young people, and they're there many times to get mentorship, but I am always so excited to get mentorship from them. I mean, it's amazing what you can do. I mean, when you're bringing people onto your team, do you look for people that have different skill sets than you do?
I have not brought anybody onto the team yet. I do outsource a lot of things when I need to, but I haven't added to the team yet. And I love that you brought that up, because that is actually something that I know is next. It's time for me to add on some interns. It's time. I'm at that place. I had to build it first and get to this phase. So you've just encouraged me today, reminding me, Amy, there it is. There's the reminder. Go ask your network and start searching those interns, because it is time.
Yeah, they're amazing. They really are. I've had such great experiences with interns. So one last question for you. Who is the kindest person that you have worked with in either music or sales? I know that's a tough one.
Sales, it is a tough one. Sales, there have been several. My first boss, Elizabeth, who gave me my start, she took a chance on a girl that knew nothing. I didn't know how to read a rate sheet. I didn't understand mortgage or real estate. And she took a chance on me, and we're still friends to this day. And I am where I am today because of that decision she made in 2000 to take a chance on me. She was kind. She was gracious. She was a mentor, a leader in my life. And I came out the gate swinging and succeeded because I wanted to repay her for being so kind and for taking a chance on me when she didn't have to. I had 0 resume when she took a chance on me. And so I would say that still, Elizabeth Montez was the biggest influence and kindest person I have ever met.
That's awesome. It's always good to remember and appreciate and give gratitude to those people in your life that have helped you get where you are. Because there's always somebody that if they weren't there, you wouldn't be where you are. So if there's one thing that you want to leave the audience with today, what would that be?
To take the limits off. As a professional, as an individual, whatever those limits that you can identify you have on yourself, take them off. I am living proof. I mean, I remember being told I was too old in Nashville in 2004. And here I am. 18 years later, I released my music and it goes on the charts. I took that limit off. There was no age limit for me. I took the limits off that because I didn't have a college degree, I couldn't be a professional in sales and be a coach and be a sales manager those years. I took the limit off. I took the limit off that I couldn't go out and ask for the business as a recording artist because I was bringing my kids with me. I found a way. I took the limits off. And so anytime we take those limits off and say, how can I do this? Not how can't I do it? Watch and see what will happen in your life.
That is so inspiring. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time, and I appreciate the value that you just brought to everybody who's listening and watching, including me.
Well, everybody listening needs to follow Kelly on every show because she is an absolute amazing game changer. And what you're doing here to shine a light on other professionals and bring incredible insight, this could be somebody's coaching. This could be somebody's mentor every show. So thank you for what you're doing.
Oh, that's so kind. And where can people follow you? Where I know you've got multiple websites and multiple social media platforms, and we'll put all of those in the show notes so that people can see them. But
thank you.
Tell us where should people find you?
Thankfully, again, that wonderful unique name of Scruggs. You just Google Amy Scruggs. I guarantee you will find it. If you put Amy Scruggs into any of the social media handles, I will come up first. So there, awesome. That's it. Just put my name into whatever you're looking for: Pandora, Spotify, Instagram, any of it. Amy Scruggs. Can't miss me.
Amy Scruggs, everybody. Thank you, Amy. You're the best.
Thank you for watching and listening to Kelly Minds Her Manners. Make sure to subscribe to the show and don't forget to leave us a review to tell us what you liked about the episode. You can connect with Kelly at Kelly Minds Her Manners on Instagram and TikTok or on our website, www.kellymindshermanners.com.